Do you want to do something about AIDS? Today's your chance. Today, AIDS Vision is coming to you live, and we're going to talk about how you can volunteer at AIDS Project Los Angeles. So I'm Allison. Call me, 310-315-4428. Call me here at AIDS Vision, live. Welcome to AIDS Vision. I'm your volunteer host, Allison Arngrim. And today we're live, and you can actually phone us and be part of AIDS Vision at 310-315-4428, but it'll be on the screen. Call me. What we're doing today is we're talking about volunteering. And with me is Pam Brannon, who is the volunteer recruitment person at APLA, is the person you would come to see, and Mr. Randy Herrera. He is a volunteer with the Buddy program, and he is an award-winning volunteer. He won the Nancy Cole Sawaya Humanitarian Award. Welcome to AIDS Vision.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
What do you do in the Buddy program? Tell people what that is.
The Buddy program provides a volunteer to a person who has AIDS to help as a friend, to do social things with, for emotional support, and to do some limited physical sort of helping out around the apartment or house or whatever. But mostly it's for emotional support of the person who has AIDS.
And to people watching now, if they wanted to become a buddy and go help someone with AIDS and be their friend and take them places, they could call here and find out how to volunteer?
Right.
There's training for that, though, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
they go through an orientation, and once they go through the general orientation, then they would go through their buddy training, of which I actually am a buddy too. Randy is my buddy group facilitator. And I went through the buddy group training, and then I was assigned to his group, and he was the facilitator, and I've been in that group for 3 years. And now I'm also doing the orientations at APLA. So I've kind of come full circle with my volunteer work.
So this can be a whole long-term commitment if you volunteer. You can stay there.
Exactly.
Now there's a lot of different things that volunteers can do, and we're going to show a piece of tape. These are interviews with people who are currently volunteering at AIDS Project Los Angeles, and shows some of the many things that you can do if you volunteer at APLA. And I know some of these people. Let's run the tape.
Many different things I didn't know about. I knew about the Buddy program because that's what my brother did, and that's when they first initiated it. And there are so many different options here and outlets that you don't even realize are available. And everyone has skills that they don't even know they have. And if it's just even talking on the phone to a person, or it's even putting a rubber roundabout in a bag, I think everyone has a skill that they can contribute here. And people don't know that they even have that option. So I think that's really good to know, and Pamela's wonderful in orientation. She really gives all those options and tells all the volunteers exactly what they can do, and she's such the upbeat person that how could you not want to volunteer? By the time you walk out of that orientation, you're just like, okay, yeah, let's go. So it's definitely the wave of what's going to be happening all around the world is volunteer organizations for AIDS, and it's a necessity.
All right, Nick, here we go. Now, Nick, tell me, how did you get involved, and why did you want to work in the food bank specifically as a volunteer?
I like working with people. I'm not very good with paper, and I like working one-on-one. And I feel like volunteering here, I'm part of the solution instead of the problem, because you have two choices. You can either be part of the solution or the problem, and I'd rather be part of the solution.
When I first came here, my mother said, "Oh my God, you're going to get AIDS. How could you do this to yourself?" It's like, lady, give it a rest, you know? I explained it all to her. I sent lots of material to read about AIDS, and I said that we're not going to have sex, we're not going to exchange blood, I'm not going to exchange drug needles. Consequently, I'm safe. You know, so, are you sure? Yes. My sister thinks it's wonderful because I give her free tickets to come to events, so she thinks it's wonderful. My daughter works in finance, Stacy, and my other friends think it's wonderful. Now that they know I'm not going to get AIDS, they think it's, it's okay. They weren't getting with it at first because they just really didn't understand what it was all about. Now they're cool with it.
I've always wanted to do some type of work, either volunteering in hospitals with AIDS patients or even promoting education, because I feel that one of the big problems that our society faces is lack of education or misinformation. And I felt that spreading the knowledge that we know today about HIV and AIDS through the hotline to the communities would best represent what I wanted to do.
Well, my brother, Kevin, he was a volunteer when APLA first started. And we're working out of a very small house and had the hotline in the closet. And he passed away 2 years ago of AIDS. So I'm here kind of in his legacy for that reason. And I thought this would be a good way to kind of pass along his name and to keep it going. And it's a very, very worthwhile way to do that.
You've been doing this for years?
No, not for years, just started. But I plan on doing it for years because it's something that I've really enjoyed already and it's going to stay with me.
So these are some of the things that people do there. Now, I'm a volunteer too. I have volunteered on the hotline, the Speakers Bureau, the Necessities of Life program, the food bank, and now, of course, I volunteer as the host of AIDS Vision, which is really easy. So there's a lot of stuff that can be done. I particularly liked Maxine. That was the woman who was talking about her mother saying, oh my God. Do we still get that? I mean, Maxine's been there forever, but people who, their friends or relatives say, you can't volunteer at AIDS Project Los Angeles.
We get it all the time. We even get volunteers who come in and they're kind of timid as they're sitting in the orientation, and one of the things that I really punch up, I say to them, if you listen to nothing else today, please listen to how HIV is transmitted and which bodily fluids transmitted. And we assure them, you cannot, through any kind of casual contact here in your volunteer work or in just walking down the hall, drinking from a fountain, contract AIDS or HIV. It's a very important thing that we really do punch up the educational aspect in the orientations. Can we maybe discuss, if not now, later, just how HIV is transmitted and which fluids transmitted?
Absolutely. Well, we should do that right now. We have a call, but before we go any further, I mean, people know, I think Maxine's making that clear, but if you're watching AIDS Vision, and if you watched the show before, and you still don't know how AIDS is transmitted, yes, clear this up.
Okay, there's 4 methods that we know today that HIV can be transmitted: through unprotected sex with an infected partner, through sharing needles or works, which isn't necessarily drug users. It can be steroids, ear piercing, tattoos.
Diabetes.
Exactly. Through an infected mother to her child during pregnancy, delivery, or nursing, or through blood transfusions. And the 4 fluids that carry sufficient amounts to be infectious, which is very important, is blood, semen, vaginal secretions, and breast milk.
I always like to think of them as the 4 food groups in reverse. You keep these 4 things out of your body, you got no problem.
In reverse,
okay,
exactly.
We've got a caller coming in, so I just tap this and we get someone. Hello?
Hi.
Hi, you're on TV. What do you want to know?
Well, I work during the day. I work full-time. Are there things I can do at night to volunteer? And how would I go about doing that?
Okay, that's a very obvious question. If you're working full-time, since we all have to eat, but you want to help out, what do you do? Is there stuff after hours and on other days that you can do?
Absolutely. I always like to say to someone who's interested in volunteering, because of people who obviously do have full-time schedules, if you have an hour a month or 8 hours a day, we do have a place for you. You would simply call me up at APLA. My number is 213-993-1380. We have evening orientations as well as daytime orientations. You listen to the more than 20 programs that we have available, and you can kind of custom make your volunteer work according to your schedule. We have a lot of opportunity available to someone in the evening as well as the daytime.
Well, I know all my hotline classes were at night, although there is a daytime training too, and that runs into the evening. Now, if you're a buddy and you're assigned to a person, that would probably be more based on their needs. So what do you do if you're working with a buddy?
It depends. There are some buddies actually who have the days free, and so we assign them to clients who have indicated they want someone during the day. Most people, though, as you said, work during the day, so that's kind of upfront to the client that these are the limitations that the buddy has, and we hope this will work for you. you know, we try to match up as best we can, but the buddy program does. But and so the evening hours, the weekends, the buddies that I've had, it's always been in the evenings and the weekends that,
So they
that I've done
assign you to
stuff.
someone who wants to see you on the weekends anyway.
Right, right. And
Now-
one of the nice things about being a buddy is that you basically, the commitment you make is to the client. I mean, the time commitment you make is to the client, and so there's, you basically set it up with the client about what, you know, what good hours, what days of the week, and it's flexible depending on what you work out with the client.
And then there's also the events, right? So which are
Exactly.
sort of one-time shots where you can come in, do one thing.
And then people love that. They love the fact that it's kind of a one-shot commitment deal. We have an event line. You simply call it up. You tell us which event you're interested in. You come that evening and you can do anything from seating to selling programs to being a monitor. There's a wide variety of opportunity available. And you get the benefit of most times being able to see the event as well.
You get a show, you get celebrities.
Exactly,
You get all that.
exactly.
I'm gonna hit this, see who we've got now. Hello?
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 Yeah, hi. I was wondering where you can get like a free AIDS test. 'Cause I've seen it, they advertise as like $50 and sometimes free. What's the conditions?
Oh, okay, now this guy's calling about testing. Absolutely, of course, you do not have to pay to get a test for antibodies to HIV. The AIDS test, as people call it, is free and available. If he calls the hotline, there's...
Exactly. Through the state of California, there are testing sites, and if he calls the hotline, depending upon where he lives, they will tell him where to go.
Yeah, but usually it's like a clinic that I really wouldn't want to go to. Probably where you can get it.
The clinics, well, aren't there now about 20 or so centers? I mean, if you look in the book, there's now a bunch of different places. It used to be one or two
Exactly.
clinics where it was...
Well, if he does call the hotline and he tells them what his requirements are, his specifications, again, they can, according to what he wants, they can tell him exactly where to go.
And one of the handy things about volunteering at AIDS Project Los Angeles, yet another plug here, is you do find out these things. As you volunteer, you meet people who work in AIDS, and they'll know where the really good clinics are, where the good
Exactly.
hospitals are. If you don't want to go to the free place where they're testing, if you work at APLA and you hang out there and volunteer there, people will say, well, I know someone who does it for less and
Exactly.
will do it and put it on, and not put it on your file or whatever. You find out good places to go for diagnosis.
Okay, thank you.
So come join us.
We can give the hotline number now that he can call if he's interested. It's a wonderful resource. It is open 365 days of the year, holidays, Christmas, New Year's Day, 9 to 9 Monday through Friday, and 9 to 5 on the weekends and the holidays. And the number is 1-800-922, think of 911, but twice as important, AIDS, 2437.
That's very nice. I haven't heard that one before.
Yeah,
That's
it's an easy number to remember. And refer it to your friends. Use it yourself whenever you have a question that it's anonymous. There may be a question here that we don't answer, we don't get to, and they can call at any time, and there's no exchange of names or anything.
And
It's
when you
completely anonymous.
volunteer on the hotline, the calls that you get are incredible. And when you volunteer on those holidays. Working the food bank, the Necessities of Life program on Thanksgiving, around the holidays when
Right.
people get holiday food, is really a good time to do it. The hotline calls that come in on New Year's Day after everyone's been out New Year's Eve. A lot of people are out having unsafe sex on New Year's Eve, I gotta tell you, and they do call. So, you know, these are really good times to volunteer. Have you done other things besides be a buddy?
Buddy facilitator,
So you're teaching people to be buddies.
right, basically holding their hand through the whole thing.
And he does it remarkably well.
Pam's a good buddy. She really is. What else have I done, Pamela? I was
You do
doing-
special events, you do the wall.
That's true. I do the dance-a-thon and the walk-thons.
dance-a-thon.
Help with those, doing the day of the event, and also phone calls, all those calls you get from the walk office and dance office. I'm one of the
Oh,
people
you're the
making-
guy on my answering
That's
machine.
me.
Call-
That's me.
You two
That's
can come
me.
be someone on someone's answering machine.
I'm Paul and Chris.
Now,
and,
you won the Nancy Kosawaya Humanitarian Award.
Yes.
This is from the Friend Indeed Awards, which are held
Right.
every year.
Right.
Now, how did that come about?
It was a complete surprise to me, actually. John Salat, who works in the buddy office, each program, and Pamela can correct me if I'm wrong, but each program in APLA nominates some of its volunteers. There's like 5 different awards. And John Salat and Shil Manawa, who run the buddy program, nominated me for this award. John went off and talked to people at the dance office and walk office. He talked to Pamela, among others. and other people that have been in, when I came into the buddy program, they talked to people that were in my support group.
So they sort of researched you and got all the
Yeah.
dirt available and
Basically,
gossip
all
around the
dirt,
project.
all the dirt, and wrote up a 4 or 5 page letter and nominated me for the award. I was quite surprised.
So there's prizes here involved.
Exactly.
We have another call. Let's see who this is. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
First I want to say that I grew up watching you, and
Oh, dear.
I saw every episode probably 5 or 6 times, and
Oh,
I
for-
absolutely love you. I think you're fantastic.
For anyone watching who doesn't know what he means, yes, I was Nellie Olson on Little House on the Prairie. Okay.
I just got one question. Now, there's never any danger to the buddies who volunteer in any way, is there?
No, he's talking about the buddies when you're working closely with someone with AIDS, but you're not doing medical procedures for them, correct?
No, no. When I was a buddy, when I had my last client, I would help. Toward the end, I was helping to bathe him, sponge bathe him, but that was about the extent of anything I did. Any medical procedures are really left to the professionals, the nurses and physicians.
And your training would also cover what precautions would need to be taken should
Right.
someone you're with be bleeding. Mind you, if you're with someone you don't know and they're bleeding, they could be positive.
That's
so.
true.
Exactly.
Should always assume. But yes, the buddy training covers things like that.
So yes, you'd be safe.
And what was the phone number that you call again?
To become a buddy?
Yeah.
Okay, call my main number, and that's 213-993-1380, and just sign up to come into a general orientation, and once you complete that, I will then send your application on to the buddy program, and they will contact you for training.
Great.
Okay?
You'll be assigned. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Hi,
Hi,
you're on.
how are you?
I'm fine.
This is a question for Pamela Brannon.
Okay.
Pamela, I just would like to know what's going on with Impacto Latino. I used to be a volunteer for that magazine, the APLA Spanish newsletter,
Right?
and I know that it wasn't going on, and I would like to continue to volunteer.
Okay, that's a good
Impacto
question.
Latino? This is
We have 4 publications in APLA. This is one of them. It's for our bilingual, where Spanish is their first language, or monolingual community, not just for people who are volunteers or clients. And we had a woman in this position, and she left to pursue a master's degree. And we were diligently looking for a replacement, and we have found one, Mirta. And she works in the communications department, and she's been there for about 3 weeks. So I would encourage this caller to give her a call, give me a call. If you've already gone through the process and you volunteered, please come back. I know she could use assistance. She's already asked me for people to help her out with translation. So it is up and running. If you are willing to come in, we are willing to have you anytime you want to come back.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
great. So if people are watching now and you're bilingual, you're badly
yes.
needed at AIDS Project Los Angeles, and you can come
Significantly.
work on the publication as well as also, well, I imagine, the buddies and the hotline and
There's a
everything.
need for bilingual buddies also. We have several monolingual clients actually, and so we're looking for bilingual buddies also.
Yeah, bilingual volunteers can be used in almost any program. 40% of our clients are Latino, and the number is increasing every year. So our volunteer base, unfortunately, isn't quite in proportion with that. So if there is someone out there who especially has daytime availability or evening availability, and they are bilingual, we can put them to work in many areas.
So now this is also an opportunity that, although we said yes, if you're working, sure, there's evenings and weekends. If you're retired, if you're a student, you only work part-time, or like a lot of people I know are unemployed actors or writers, this is it. This is you come down in the daytime and here's something you can be doing for several hours a day.
Exactly. We have an office services department that's very flexible. It's actually within the volunteer resources department, and we're open 9 to 9 Monday through Thursday and 9 to 6 on Friday. And we're doing a wide variety of things, stuffing condom packages for education and doing the direct mail outs, all of these
Stuffing
fundraisers.
condom packages. What do you do when you stuff a condom package? People are sitting home going, what did
I
she
know.
just say?
What did she just say? Basically, we take a wide selection of the latex condoms, and we put safer sex literature, lubricant. We put these all into packages, and these go out to areas such as prisons, high schools, where they're not readily available. And basically, we do these through our education department as well as the Necessities of Life program, the food bank. They're also available for our clients in the food bank. So it's condoms and lubricants and safer sex literature, how to put one on, to dispose of it, and so forth. We also, in office services, do all the direct mail out for these fundraisers. the invitations have got to go out. So there's a lot of stamps and a lot of envelopes that need to be licked and sent out, and it's fun. There's there was a young woman with a hat on, Lisa Brander. She works in office services.
And with a big hat.
Big hat. And they all get together. They usually come in the same time once you kind of get a rhythm down. We see repeat people coming back the same day every week. And they're like a family. And they get together, they sit, they talk, people bring in food, you know, it's just
There's
like
a lot of parties and social events go on too when you volunteer.
Exactly. So there is definitely a place, if there's someone out there who's just curious, I encourage them to come to an orientation. There is no commitment beyond the orientation. If they just want to come and sit in, not even fill out an application and just get an idea of what there is, I encourage them to do that. Because again, as I said earlier, if you have an hour or if you have 8 hours, there's a place for you.
And now if you're like just completely chicken and say, I want to volunteer, but I can't be a buddy. I couldn't take it. I don't know if I could work with someone who's sick, or I don't know if I could stuff condoms into envelopes. I would just be too embarrassed. You have other things for people to do.
Exactly. We have a dentist clinic where they can go in and they can actually sit and greet clients, answer phones. We have a food bank where they can go.
You can play dental receptionist.
Exactly, and you don't have to have any kind of experience. That's a good thing about what we do. Any kind of training that is necessary, we will do it for you. And some of the programs don't even require the additional training. So again, it's based upon your desire and your time commitment that you have available, and whether you want to work one-on-one with a client or you don't. It goes from one extreme to the other.
What have you enjoyed most in volunteering?
Being a buddy, actually. The last client I had, his name was Fred, and he taught me so many things that to this day I still think about him every day. And working with people like Pamela as a facilitator has also been wonderful. Seeing their eagerness as they come out of the training, and all the ups and downs as they go through their relationship with their clients. You know, trying to keep them supported and motivated to continue. It's a challenge, and it's also, you know, there's these breakthrough moments that are really wonderful, and so those are the times that I really have enjoyed volunteering.
Well, I think people do stay. I started volunteering at AIDS Project Los Angeles in 1986, and I met my husband there. So
good for you.
Sign up now. We're going to leave you now.
Availability.
There's a lot of availability at AIDS Project Los Angeles.
Is.
You'd be amazed. So I invite you to volunteer. There's a lot of different opportunities. You can even come and help out here on AIDS Vision. Thank you for watching AIDS Vision, and please volunteer.
Thank you, Allison.
Thank you, Allison.